I'll do. This is going to be part 2 of Ghost Possession, Self, Social and Secular. So yeah, as I was saying about myself, I'll give you more of this about me because I find it interesting. I don't know how many people are suffering the same situation or realise they may be suffering the same situation of having ghost attachment, possession on you. As I said, this happened to me when I was 23, 27 years ago. Still realised only this July that it was actually a disembodied spirit attachment possession on me that's basically attached itself entered through my crown chakra, and I'm still dealing with it and trying to remove it at the moment through certain people and procedures. It's an ongoing thing. But as I said, my problem was that, as I say, a big mistake that I had, and many of us have probably all done it, is basically keep your bed and the headboard side of it underneath the window. I mean, I moved my bedroom around all sorts of times, you know what I mean? And it just happened to be there for a while, and it was it was in June time, June the 29th, I'll never forget it, or Monday, June the 29th, 1998. Basically, as I said, I had my bed underneath the window. Got no sleep that day, and I was basically, I was working at the time, and everything was going sweet in my life, and got no sleep that morning. And I was off to going to work. I would have done anyway, and basically had the window blind a bit open. I think the window was open because it was summer, a jar open, and had my back to the window. And about dawn time, a hard pressure hit through the top of my head, and instantly I started to hear voices of people around me. Now I'm thinking I had a soul attachment of a living spirit embodied amongst the people that were talking to me, and it was a soul vampiric sort of attachment. And it wasn't. It was really a disembodied spirit that jumped through the top and backward from outside in the atmosphere, through the window, through into my head. And I felt the pain. I didn't see it, you see. And I started hearing voices, and that's what started off me hearing the voices and the depression. I mean, it was really painful. I mean, that first day that it happened, I remember putting my arms up like this on the bed, and I was hearing all these voices, and I couldn't pull my hands down for about half an hour or so. I was locked in a possession. I managed to get downstairs at 10 o'clock in the morning to tell the people, my boss at work, that I weren't going to turn up. I had a 12 o'clock, I think, sort of shift. I was doing 10 to 8, and told him I can't be working today, and I took a whole week off. Yeah, it's just strange time, you know. It's the most painful time. It's excruciating. It always kills you on the impact, you know. But I survived and took a week off, and my whole life just basically been a grounded, rapturous life. Basically, you know, there's a lot of men hit 21, 23 and then hit by schizophrenia. Don't know if you've ever heard that before, but I'm one of these people. It's everything that turned around in my life, from about 21 to 23 as a visitation of Christ, turning my life around. Me then from that going into Hari Krishna, the Santana Dharma, getting turned on to that. So as he says, I'm the way to the Father, and the Son, you know, the true vine, what Jesus is, you know. But what he's saying is that the real Father being Vishnu, you see, and the Santana Dharma. And see, Pradyumna, Jesus, basically the head son, so initiated me back in, and it's basically through the Vedic world I've basically started taking on their prescription of life. Come back to vegetarian within them 2 years from 21, then basically stopped drinking and smoking, taking a bit of like weed and dropping ease and that, and just stopped for about 7 years from that 21 to 28. But at 23, as I say, you know, my life in them 2 years of 2023 before this disembodied spirit possession hit me, you see, my life was going great. You see, everything in the black. Even my money was up in $2,000 working in a job, you know, completely straightened out, total, down the gym, keeping fit. Right, and that was basically the revelation of Christ that I'd seen. Basically, everything could be sweeter in the simple man's little life that I live in, and keeping it that simple and renounced. You see, and on that self tip, this is how I was living. You see, I mean, my life couldn't be better. So it couldn't have been better than what it was at that time. You know, the right kind of women were walking into my life, were basically down the gym. All these things were basically on the way, you know. And as I said, this morning came on that Monday, and it completely ruptured into my rapture, which is the depression. Now, this thing with this system of a secular level in your life is like the whole institution of this world's order is completely trying to basically get you entangled to make profit off you on so many levels. So like on the institutional level of medicine or medication, the profiteering of your illness was not the right prescription if it's a soul attack of a disembodied spirit, to understand. So they're prescribing you the wrong prescription. They're prescribing you medication, which is not what you need. You need to not be on medication. I never took medication. I was determined not to take medication. I knew it wasn't a chemical imbalance. As someone that's how they to relate to us as the people, patients. Oh, you've got chemical imbalance. All this like, you know, no, it wasn't a chemical imbalance. It wasn't a psychic vampirism of other living spirits around me, who I thought it was. Who I was hearing voices. You see, they only amplified me hearing them more because of this disembodied spirit that entered through the back of my head, so it deceived me. It was a sneaky one, you know. And he's just tried to, and it hides inside of me, and I haven't been able to release him yet. It's only, as I said, in the July of this year, I see him come out. I was somewhere, and there was a skylight, and when I was sitting there, all of a sudden, it left by 5-6 off his body, so like his foot still, so like was still stuck in me as he was leaving. I saw him for the first time about 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds of him leaving up into the sky, and the pain that he brought with him that comes into me, it was a pain that was being relieved from me with him, but he decided to stay. So that's the first time he revealed himself to me. There's only one spirit. It's a healthy spirit, because I'm not being sick in any other way. It's just a pain in the head, you know, that, you know, it's very painful, and it takes all my resources to live a life that basically makes me continue to live a life where I'm sanitized, clean, together, not falling into the imbalance or doing too many drink or drugs now, like basically to take the edge off the pain, because that can be the addiction, to take the more drugs to keep the edge off yourself. I'm not doing that either. I've always been trying to get the fine line of that balance, understanding these things, keeping fit, you know, what I was doing, because it's do or die. So I knew I'd either curl up and die within this week and let this thing take me over, run into the medicated world, because I don't want to go, or I continue to live the life and just basically tough this out. And this is what I've managed to do. But it's interesting, I've realised that it's actually a disembodied spirit in concision. It's not a chemical imbalance or medication. It's not a vampirism of other people. You know, even other people, now I'm hearing their voices, you know, they can be shitey because I can hear them, where before it wasn't like that. It's always more transcendental. See, I mean, I wasn't hearing nothing. So I'm processing human traffic on a transcendental platform. It feels like I'm being amplified, you see, in this possession. You see, and I want some showboat display in my life that was not there before. You see, I was out of sight and uptight and out of sight, see, on a transcendental platform. And at the moment, because of this disembodied spirit, you see, it's upset that, you see, when it's put everything in an amplified sort of display box situation, so, which is a turn off for me and anybody else, a lot of people. You know, this is the problem. So I'm working on trying to get rid of this now. I know concisely, and I'm working with certain clairvoyants and mediums to know they try and deal with this situation. They've been veterans in the game for a long time, which is what I need. But yeah, that's the myself and my personal take to what's happened to me in my personal life. I don't know how many other people go through the same thing. Do you even realise, some people, that you might even have ghost possession on yourself? I mean, there's a statistic I was saying yesterday, is about 1 in 12 people in the world. How true that is, I don't know. But this has come from people I was writing books about all this and their statistics and what I'm listening to. And the pile-up's getting, like, there's more and more people, ghost, you know, people that dying and not crossing over to their respective light frequency or dimension they're meant to be going to the rest of their next journey, and they're holding back over us for whatever reason. There could be many reasons what that is, you know. Each one is a case study. So why they still want to live basically amongst us, and they don't even know some of them, they're dead some. See, the absolute is, there are people absolute that are staying around on us. The case study is an individual unique thing to why, you know. But yeah, these things are happening. The medication ain't going to help you out either. if you've got a disembodied disorder, all you're then getting caught up in is the synthesis of subcultured sex of the medication. I've never done it. I know enough, but when I've taken LSD and ease in my life, or magic mushrooms, or I call it the winter part of the trip, but all of a sudden, I like Midnight's Children, the film, and all of a sudden you can see souls standing around in your house where you couldn't before when you're in that natural state, and how close souls can be, or they're brought more closer because of the drug that you're on and other people are on them with them at these time and frequencies. You start to see them in the winter part of the trip. Well, what I'm presuming are the psychotropics or the medication is just always taking that daily dose, is always keeping you in that situation, the synthesis of that connection, which then can lead to like soul, ghost, astral projection, sex between each other as a subculture. You see, if you fall into that, I only know that's been coming on the winter of the drugs of LSD and ease in my time and magic mushrooms. You see. And it's something you can't do these drugs all day. You know, these kind of drugs that are now made illegal in this country as a legal fiction, which is another thing about the secular level, basically, and it's legal fiction. You see, where they keep all these drugs daily that you can be on psychotropics all day on, you know, and kept in that sort of in that field of dimension of connection of people. You know, what's that all about? You know, and they make that legal. But they keep all the drugs that you can't do every day. You can't do mushrooms every day. Even if you microdose, you wouldn't do it all the time if you've done it for a year. You can't be microdosing acid, even though you're like saying with mushrooms, you're not going to do it all the time if you did microdose. This is their temporary drugs you do for a little once, and you basically don't do them again for another 3 months or whatever. You know, or you do get into them for a time, but then you stop doing them. Yeah, it's not a permanent fixture like ease as well. You know, you can't continue doing these drugs. These are really temporal drugs you do sometimes if you do them on a blue moon. Realistically, recreationally, you know, so you have a healthier attitude. It's something you learn, you know, if you ever go through that yourself. But most of us realistically probably have some time, and I love not everyone, but you know what I'm talking about as a commonality in life. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's like these are the things that this system basically gets you caught up into in this entanglement. You've got the ghosts basically attacking you. You've got the institutional systems trying to set you up with the wrong prescription or medication if you fall into there. You know, what do? You know, keep away from the institution or the drugs. It's something to come away from. Use it sovereignly. If you've got depression, don't take the medication. To what, you know, if you really have genuine depression, I have a depression because of a ghost depression. Once that ghost is removed, I haven't got depression anymore. Right? I'm free from him, right? But it's trying to get that release, you see, and it's possible that it can be released. They can go as easy as they come in. It's finding the very trigger that sets them to get free, and it's finding the right mediums and clairvoyant of exorcisms that have that ability to know what they're doing and trying to suss the case out. You know, as I say, it's still going on. So yeah, there's that on the self tip, as I've gone into now a little bit longer. Another thing is was a secular level. Again, you see, like when Jesus said he walked on the water, well, he aesthetically probably had the ability, which he did, to walk literally on literal water, H2O, right, as he's shown. But also the other way of the secular, walking on water to this world's order, is basically keeping out of this institutional system, you see. Like I do, come away from this world, as Christ was talking about. So it's keeping away from this world. For instance, not marrying for me, taking their medication for mental illness is another. If I have a child, I wouldn't have a birth certificate. I'd have in the first estate, the process is medical record, not the King Charles owning and the royal family, the Windsor family owning your child through a birth certificate. Now they own your child. You see what I mean? They don't own your child. It is a medical record. It's just a medical record which you can ask for, basically a copy for, then to design your own birth certificate. How many people are doing that? This is Freeman thinking, or Cupid, or Christian thinking, or where I'm coming from. You see, in the fold of Jesus, see, coming away from how to use this system in sovereign, how to walk on the water secularly. See, it's all these kind of things that come away from this world. You can still be detached from this world yet fully engaged, right? He says. But you can, I mean, you know, if you're that fortunate, you know, you might meet the right women, the right men, whatever, have these children, you know. I don't have to have a mortgage, I can have a council place. You know what I mean? Each to their own, coming away from this world. You can live on a boat, you can basically live on a caravan, static caravan, live in a council flat, you know. Don't have to be so bound down by the mortgages of entanglement of this world's order just to live on life, you know, so they've taken a pound of flesh out of you, basically, financially. So this is the way that you basically cut across this system, basically, and living the resurrection pragmatically and realistically, and the self and the secular. I haven't talked so much about the social this time. I sort of left that in yesterday, but I said that's just about because avoiding people that are no good for you, giving them less time, and your time is valuable. You do what you've got to do. Don't be caught up with people that you don't know, just got no value or time for you. That's basically serving you no time, and basically, they're just giving you more hassle, more grief, more stress, more dramas, more sagas. Do you need it? More draining of your energy. Don't give it to them. But yeah, that's what I'm going to say for now in this part 2. And have a nice day, and enjoy the sunshine because it's quite a nice day out there. All right, catch you later.